Thanks for that, Edward. Now, we've talked about budgets and negotiation. Now I'd like to move on to relationship management, which is a key part of every role at Hiscox.
Yes, fine.
Can you tell me about a specific project when you've had to take a collaborative approach to maintaining a successful relationship?
Yeah, I can think of many. The most recent would be at Helium when I managed a project for the Specialty Risks division. We had to develop an online platform to trade commercial risks and covers.
When you said we a moment ago, who exactly did you mean, please?
Well, I had to work very closely with the senior underwriters on the Specialty Risks team. I had to liaise with the IT department and my project staff, of course.
Thank you. When working in partnership with these different stakeholders, can you think of a time when your collaborative approach was most successful?
Yes. At the very start of the project, there was a resistance from the IT manager to release resources to the project. I invited him to a meeting with the underwriting manager and the director who was sponsoring the project at board level. I included him in all the high-level scoping conversations, and I asked him to be the technical champion of the project.
How did that work out?
Well, he really liked being included in the senior team, and as he saw it as a feather in his cap, he cooperated and he released resources. No more resistance.
Thank you. Let's move on. Please describe any of the project relationships that were more challenging for you.
There was one of the project staff, an underwriter seconded from Specialty Risks. He was particularly hard to manage.
Hard to manage. Please, tell me more.
Well, he was a technical expert on the risks and covers we were trading. Although he knew his subject well, he found it difficult to grasp what we were trying to achieve with the online product. Yeah, he held the project up, and we were drawing closer to launching the prototype, and he was constantly questioning the content of the website, and he was quite aggressive if he didn't like the wording.
I see. So what action did you take?
My first approach was to speak to him informally to make him aware of the negative impact he was having on the project and the rest of the team.
That sounds interesting. So how did you do that?
Well, I asked him to put himself in the shoes of the rest of the team to try and consider the wider business implications of there being further delays. I tried to be more collaborative. I asked him to be with us rather than against us.
How well did that work?
It worked to a degree, but there were still signs of aggression. I had to be more direct with him. I asked him to a more formal meeting, and I invited the underwriting manager to join us. I told him firmly that he needed to stop objecting to everything unless he could provide sound technical reasons for doing so. The underwriting manager agreed with me and offered to be a sounding board for him if he had any other things he needed to question. We made it quite clear to him that he was needed on the project as a technical expert, but he should be more considerate of his effect on the project and the other team members.
I see. And what happened then, please?
Well, he didn't stand in my way after that. He was still making objections, but now that they were filtered through the underwriting manager, only the important ones reached me. I don't think I was his favourite person, though.
Looking back on how you managed that relationship, can you think of how you might have influenced that particular person so that you were his favourite person?
No, I dealt with it in the best way I could. A direct approach was the solution in this situation.
We've talked about being collaborative and about being direct. How did you decide which approach to take?
Well, I always try to be more collaborative. I prefer people to work alongside me in partnership. I'm less comfortable telling people what to do, but in this case it was necessary.
Thank you, Edward. Now, I'm going to move away from relationship management and I'd like to talk now about decision making. So, can you tell me please about a time recently when you've had to make a very difficult decision?